This is a Kawasaki KVF400 Prairie 4x4. I think that was a mouthful. The plan is to figure out what is wrong with it. Now there's two issues that I know of. One of them is that the engine doesn't completely turn over. It'll do some rotation and then all of a sudden it locks up. It doesn't matter which direction I go in, it'll do that. I'm not sure if there's maybe a screw or something that fell in there. This is somebody else's project that I'm picking up and just trying to get back up and running. It's kind of how you get stuff for cheap. Work on it yourself. Now, I've been dragging this thing everywhere because there's something wrong with either the transmission or one of the brakes is stuck. I think it's most likely the brakes because in the front, it does rotate. Both sides rotate, but in the back, can't get it to do anything. Now the reason why I say transmission first is because that seemed like that was the issue originally, because I couldn't get it into neutral. But now that I jacked it up and put it on some kind of block stands, I noticed that the front does rotate, so that's a good sign. So what I think I'm first going to do is tackle that rear wheel there, because that's where the drum brake is, and see if there's something that's stuck in there and see if we get that loose, and then move on to something else. Hopefully the plan, if I can do it based on time, maybe I can get it back up and running. But there's a few things that I need to put back together before I can do that. Well, I know I said I was going to work on the rear to try and figure out what was going on with why it wasn't rotating. Unfortunately, I ran into a problem with getting these nuts off. I don't have the right socket size, so I'm actually going to have to go and get those, and I'll keep whatever I recorded and push that into another video. Alright, so as I mentioned before, this pretty much doesn't rotate past a certain point. I don't know if that's a valve or something that's just in the way, or maybe something fell in there. I went ahead and removed the front tire, at least just to give me a little bit more room in here. But what I think I'm going to start off with is just trying to get some of these things out of the way. Maybe get some of those hoses, those coolant hoses out of the way. Already found this. I don't really know where it goes to, but I guess I'll find out. So let me tear into that and see what happens. So this is the wire to the starter. It is actually pulled out by the previous owner. I think he thought that maybe it was just a starter issue, but it's clearly not. By the looks of it, it looks like that the previous owner tried to take the water pump out. This screw is very, very loose. Alright, I'll take this out. I don't believe there's any coolant. I checked in the radiator. Doesn't seem like there's anything there, so I'll just go ahead and pop these off. Okay, well there's a little bit of coolant, but not much. Push that back here. While I'm at it, I'll just take it completely off. While I'm at it, since it's pretty much already mostly disconnected, I'm just going to go ahead and remove the carb. Don't know if you can see it, but that choke cable is kind of broken, so that will have to be replaced. I think while I'm at it, I'm probably going to replace the throttle cable. I mean, it is 23 years old, so it could probably use an update. There we go, finally. A lot of little things attached to it, it's crazy. I think I'm going to remove the boot also for the carb. Maybe I can get some light in there and see if there's any kind of object or obstruction. Yeah, so at least the intake valves open and close. At least they move up and down. Not sure if you can see it, but I'm going to rotate it. And you can see there, see that line that's moving? Let's see if I can bring it back. There we go. There, see kind of the brass color kind of went away. That's telling me that that's working. I'm going to try and take the exhaust off and see if I can take a look in there. It might be a little bit difficult, but we'll give it a try. Yep, I did spray it with some PV Blaster. So that makes life a lot easier. Well, it might get a little interesting on this side, but maybe it's just a bolt. We'll find out. I wasn't sure that it was going to come off very easily, but there's just one bolt here and one on the clamp. I managed to rotate it, so I'm just going to try and pull it off now and see if it comes off easily. Yes. Alright, that wasn't too bad. I just got to remove this guy here from the engine. Oh, missed the bolt. Alright, hopefully that just pops off now. Yeah. Ow! Dang. Cold hands and a tight spot don't work very well. Here's part of it. I don't know if I'm going to get the whole thing out. Hopefully I can. I can give it a cleaning. Okay, well, I think I have to take some plastic off. But I'm going to leave that there for now. At least it's out of the way. Now, will I be able to see what is going on? I doubt it. Yeah, see, I don't see those valves moving at all. It's pretty tight. I think what I'm going to do is shoot some air on here, get some stuff cleaned up, get stuff out of the way, so that way I can maybe open it up. I might actually start by opening this up first, see if there's anything in there. I'd like to try and avoid getting in there, but that might be a little bit difficult. But I might have to, I'm not quite sure. Either way, let me start by getting some dust off and getting into here. So I went ahead and plugged up all the ports that I just didn't want something to get into. But as you can see, it is pretty dirty. So I want to try and clean some of that stuff up. At least get some of the loose debris off, and that way I have less chance of getting stuff in there. Well, here we are. A little bit better than before. But I did forget one. I forgot that one and I plugged it up. But then I forgot the starter hole. Oh well. I'm going in there, so we'll find out what happens. Alright, so I've gone ahead and removed all the bolts. I'm actually just kind of really curious right now. Don't need this. And I wanted to see what's in there. I also disconnected the wires for, I'm believing that's the stator. So I should be able to get access now and pop this all off. Honestly, it was weird because a lot of the screws, except for maybe this section here, were all really, really loose. So clearly somebody was attempting to come in here before. And I want to pry because a lot of these casings are still kind of soft. There we go. Well, doesn't look too bad. Got some junk in it, but also hasn't been run. I think, I didn't mention it, but I think it's probably been 2 years at the minimum since I've owned it, and maybe a couple of years before that. And that was loose. I know I just said I don't like prying, but I can maybe tweak this a little bit. So I don't really have a way to grab onto this. Seems like it's slowly moving forward. Come off soon. Yeah. Come on now. Almost there. Almost there. There we go. Oof. That is nasty. It is pretty crusty and rusty. Alright. Now let's try and remove the case. Oh. I need to remove that. Whew. Man, there's the tiniest of keyway keys, but wow, almost lost that. That's it right there. Pretty tiny. Alright, it should pop off now. As long as I didn't forget some screw somewhere. These are just for the pull cord, but I don't know. I'm going to take them out anyway, just in case. Yep, almost. Just in case. And if I am correct and the stator is there, then that's one of the things that are holding me back from pulling this. It's just because it's a huge magnet. Alright. Whew. Now there's a little bit of dirt from just me handling it, but I'll clean that out. You can see right here because my hand was there. But other than a tiny bit of junk, there's really not much going on. Let's pop this bolt back in and see if I can do any kind of rotation without it jamming up. I honestly don't see anything here, so that kind of worries me. Because I think it might actually be in the head. I'm just going to WD-40 this and clean that up just to make sure that I don't have anything in there. I'm just going to throw the cover back on, and I'll just start opening up the top. Okay, so I went ahead and just reinstalled everything. It's all loosely fitted. I have to get some gaskets and stuff like that. And I actually just want to actually go ahead and do a proper cleaning. I just cleaned it before with WD-40 just to make sure that I would get some of the big grit out. Other than that, that's about it. So I'm going to move to removing the head and all that. I just got the top engine mount loosened up there. Now I have to try and get top off. Basically the valve cover, if you will. I just removed the exhaust valve cover adjuster, and that gives me access to some of the bolts there because this cover is pretty thick, and I couldn't get past that point. So I'm going to try and crack all the bolts on the top here and see how far that gets me. I don't really know how many things are on here. Here's the intake valve cover adjustment. The other one was for the exhaust. I'm trying not to take too many things apart, but I think that might have to happen anyway. There's a lot of stuff here. Well, what is that? Why is that loose? Little oddities. Jeez Louise. Wow, there are way too many bolts on there. Should be able to pop this off now, but I'm not 100% sure. Oh, yes. Unless I forgot a bolt somewhere, which is, yep, that's what it looks like. There we go. That was the last bolt, I think. Ugh. That didn't sound good. This little oil line that keeps getting in the way. And I got it off. Oh my goodness. Well, at first glance, I don't see anything major here. I mean, it looks in good shape. I mean, there's some wear here, but that's normal. I don't see anything weird. Alright, so why don't we just do a quick check now and see if there was anything weird going on. See maybe if it was something in the cover, I mean. So it's definitely something, well, at least it's looking like it's something in the cylinder. Still doing the same thing, so, well, I guess I'm just going to go ahead and take that off. Alright, just one of those scary moments when you have to take the camshaft out, and it's a pretty tight spot. As you can tell, that red wire there is what I ran through just to hold the sprocket and chain up, but I still got to pop all the head bolts out. Here's the cam, so let me go ahead and take all those bolts out. Alright, I just got all the bolts out. If I did it right, technically I should be able to just pry this off. I'm not sure how much is actually going to come off because there's some pretty long bolts in there, and I have a feeling they go all the way down. Okay, well that's good. Let me see if I can shove that through. Left the wire connected. Alright, put that off to one side. Doesn't seem to be anything special. I did notice, however, that the intake valves are pretty loose, but the exhaust, dang, that's tight. You won't believe what I found on the intake side. There's no valves. See? Nothing. That's why they're loose. So this engine blew up or something at some point. I'm not even sure what happened. But let's take a look inside the piston. And there we go. That's what we have inside. That's what was causing my problem for the rotation. That's pretty big. I'm not even sure how you would manage to do that. I mean, you'd have to force the crap out of it. I mean, that's weird. It doesn't even look like it has some kind of impact. It looks like they just broke. It's really weird. I don't see any, like, scoring or anything like that. I'm going to double check just to make sure, but judging by the screen right now, because that's all I can see, it doesn't look bad. Like, I was thinking I was going to find some heavy pitting or something breaking, or, you know, like scratches, whatever, you name it. You name it. But turned out okay. Anyway, I want to do a little bit of a deeper dive and see what I find. Well, as you can see, there's just this little tiny mark right there. Maybe a couple more here. Oh, maybe over here too. Definitely doesn't feel right. I don't know if I'm going to save that or if I'm just going to replace the piston. I'm leaning towards replacing the piston and the rings. But that's honestly the only damage I found. And now the piston moves up and down nicely. Other than just like some oil and dirt that's in there, there's really not deep gouges or anything. And here's a different view. That splotch that you see in the, I think that's your upper left, that's just like oil and debris. But now she rotates without any problem. That was honestly a lot more work than I was expecting to do. I didn't think I would have to go that far, but that's just the way it is sometimes. Well, I accidentally created myself a problem. I rotated the engine, and now the cam chain is not connected anymore. Oh well, I'm gonna have to dig a little deeper to try and get that back on there. It might mean having to take the whole cylinder off to try and get a look back in there. That right there is why I went in a little bit deeper. I popped the chain off of the gear that's there, but no big deal. I can get that back on. I just got to do the timing and all that junk. Since it's open this big or this far, I'm going to go ahead and just change the piston, save myself the trouble. Might have the cylinder maybe just cleaned up just to make sure everything's okay. And that's about it. Well, there it is. So like I was saying, this here is kind of the damage that you see. Not really this, that's pretty much just the arrow pointing forward for the positioning of the piston, but that's most of the damage there. I've gone ahead and sealed that up, and I think honestly that's probably it for this one. I mean, I would have never thought that it was, you know, valves that have broken off. Not just one, but two, and both on the intake side, which I find is kind of weird. I'm not sure exactly what would cause that, but either way, the last thing I would have thought was the problem. So at least now we know what it was and where we have to go from here. I got to get a gasket kit for pretty much everything on this side and the cylinder, and I might as well actually just buy a whole kit just to have some spares if I ever open up something else. I'll figure that out when I get the bill. I'll definitely get a new piston right there. So with that being said, I gotta order all these parts. I don't have them with me. Once I get them, we'll get back to installing it. I still have to take a look at the back wheel here, see what's up with that, but I gotta get some tools, and like I said, I'll probably just keep that for another video. So for now, that's it, and thanks for watching.